Hi, I'm Hissatsu5, and a while back I gave y'all a phone number to call, and that was to, let's see, what are they called again? Um, the U.S. Customs and Restriction Merchandising Branch, something like that. Basically, it's they control what comes in and out of the U.S. They do the merchandising and importing and all that. And I actually got to call them. I told y'all to call them. I gave y'all the number, and some of y'all might have realized that either they didn't answer or they said their mailbox was full. But I actually finally got a hold of the guy, and well, not the guy, but I got a hold of one of the guys who was knowledgeable about this new proposal, and he said, yes, this is what we're doing and all that. And I said, well, what are y'all trying to accomplish? And he said, well, we read the original definition of a switchblade, and we thought that these other knives fell into that category. And I said, well, still, what are you trying to accomplish? And he goes, the law. He said, we're trying to uphold the law. I said, well, fair enough, fair enough. And I started talking about how useful one-hand opening knives are. I started talking about let's see if I have one on me, the slip joint knives, how they can be opened with one hand. I started talking about law enforcement, EMT, all that stuff. I started talking about Second Amendment rights, and he listened. He was really good, and then he said, "Well, what we're wanting to do is restrict the knives that'll come into the USA." He said, "We're not worried about knives that are made in America if they'll one hand opening or not." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." I said, "Well, what's the?" He said, He said, "Well, really, we just want control over the import and export stuff. Well, the importing stuff." I said, "All right. Well, what's the difference between a American-made switchblade or a Asian-made or a European-made one?" And he said, "Well, far as we're concerned, we don't care, if it's one hand opening or not, as long as it's made in the U.S." And he said there was basically no difference. We just don't want the foreign overseas knives made and coming over here. But he said it in a nicer way. And anyways, I was like, okay. And so then I asked him, well, what if I was to get into some kind of trouble with my knife? Like I used it in a self-defense situation and I had to go to court. And the judge looked at y'all's definition of a switchblade and considered my American-made knife a switchblade. Even though technically it's not a switchblade because you don't press a button and it's made in America like they want. Um, um, couldn't that be an influence if I get convicted or not? And he said, well, he said it's possible, but he says he doesn't know of any time that the courts have used their old definitions to make any kind of rulings. He said that their old definitions aren't binding in state or federal courts, which I still think they're gonna play a big role. If this guy over here says, "Oh, switchblade, this is a definition," I believe the court's gonna listen to it, and the judge is gonna listen to it. But he said that it's not binding technically. Anyways, he was a real nice guy. He was really understanding. He answered all of my questions. He didn't treat me like a idiot, and he let me jabber on about how I thought he was crazy. But I didn't tell him he was crazy. I talked to him and I asked him my questions, and he answered them. Not to say that I think that he was kind of contradicting himself about, oh, we want to legalize these knives because they're made in Italy, but these knives made in Maine or California, they're all right. I mean, it's not like that. It's not that they're thinking about. I thought when I originally thought of this, I thought they were thinking they were going to cut down on violence or something like that. But no, they're not even thinking about that. They're just kind of being a little greedy. They're kind of just watch. They just, I mean, they're just making the rule just so they can have restrictions. Um, and I kind of find that a little disturbing. But anyways, I asked him this. I said, "Well, what about the American companies that have factories overseas? You know, like Benchmade and Cold Steel, um, Spyderco. Those are American-made knives. Well, those are American companies, but they have factories overseas all over the place." And I said, by doing this, they employ American citizens, in their offices and in the factories they do have in America. But by doing this, you're going to hurt them very, very bad, and they might have to lay off some people and all that. He said, "Well, that is possible." And I was like, "Oh, man." But anyways, I couldn't talk any sense to him. I couldn't convert him. But the good news is, he gave me the phone number to the guy that proposed the bill. So that phone number is 20232500089, and I have very crappy handwriting. But anyways, I'll annotate the number in. Feel free to give the guy a call. Ask him some questions, ask him why he's doing this, see if we can get to the real um, source of the problem, see if we can fix this, and see if we can protect our rights. I'm gonna give this guy a call in a minute, and I don't think I'm gonna try hooking up my cell phone to the speakers again. Y'all could barely hear me, but I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it'd be cool to record my conversation, but it didn't work. Anyways, I'm gonna try calling this guy and see what he has to say. See if he can answer some questions. I'm Hissatsu5, and I am